Okay. We live right now.
All right.
So
Yeah, that's my. I like that. I like it.
let me ask you, do you have a coffee journey?
You have a coffee? What?
Do you have a coffee journey? When did you first started?
So I will tell you, being in corporate America, I use coffee as a way of just kind of injecting it into my veins. Right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I just use it initially. My first journey with coffee just started with like that's what adults drink.
Yeah.
Adults drink it to get you going in the morning.
Yeah.
Before I really truly understood what coffee really was,
Uh-huh.
like oh man, it's so different variations and there's
Yeah.
different levels of boldness and
Yeah.
just all these.
So
Other
you get into like the intricates?
No,
of-
absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Look, let me tell you. First off, to any of your listeners, I'll say like, I mean, I'm actually honored to be on this podcast with a coffee aficionado, right?
Yeah.
I am what you would definitely call a novice from the world of the bean of coffee,
Yeah.
coffee beans. But no, I will tell you, it's just I started drinking coffee not because I liked it.
Yeah.
I did it because I thought that's what adults drank.
Yeah.
But then later, once I actually got some real good cups of coffee and I
Yeah.
realized, oh, there's the drip and then there's cold brew and there's this and there's that. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
It's a
it's more
big world out there,
it's
right?
way more complex than I thought it was. But
Yeah.
I admit my journey started with just like I'm corporate America.
Yeah.
Everybody walked around with these big mugs of coffee, and that made me
I
seem
gotta
like I
do
was
it.
an adult.
I gotta do it.
Right. So that's what I was just. I'm an adult too, so I should
Yeah.
drink that stuff too. But that's kind of how my journey started, really.
Okay. Cool. So you keep saying corporate America.
Right.
So how does that, I guess, relate to who you are and what you do? And
Well, I mean, you got entrepreneurs and you got
Okay.
the folks who just like, which I think is most of us that climb that corporate ladder, right?
yeah,
And so I work in human resources at a large, oil and gas company in Houston. And so, most of my career has been about like, that corporate exposure.
yeah,
I've been very blessed to the point where I'm an executive now, but yeah, I mean, it's just, it's that corporate grind that most of us are in.
yeah,
And like I'll start the morning off like, okay, what do we have left? We got the espresso blend.
yeah,
We got the breakfast blend, and we got the bold and blah blah blah.
yeah.
And it's so funny. It's funny we're sitting there talking about coffee, but like even when I go into the office, we have these fancy machines,
Yeah.
and you can pick the boldness of it.
Right.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I will tell you that I feel like I've grown a little bit in my coffee
Yeah.
since the beginning, because the beginning I used to always think like, oh, this type of roast is always more bold, more caffeine,
Right.
and I realized, wait, just because it says, just because it's a darker or it's a blend, it's a bold, doesn't necessarily mean it's more
More caffeine and everything.
right?
Yeah.
Like, those things aren't necessarily related, but no, I've had opportunity to travel, to a number of South American countries,
Yeah.
countries in Europe, and I'm like, I've come to a good conclusion. I've come to an epiphany that in America we have no idea what the hell good coffee is.
Okay. I can see that in certain cases. A lot of places in America, there are people that take it. If you go to Reddit, for instance, Reddit on anything really, you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize that I was this behind or something like that.
Right.
But no, that's cool. So how much different, I guess, compared to you saying that
I don't want to hit you.
that is better, that is better, not better, but you got a different kind of interpretation of what people think about coffee compared to America. Like, look,
Absolutely. So I think in general, and let's be clear, right? There are definitely folks in the United States, such as yourself, that takes their journey with coffee very seriously, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm not trying to say that every person in the U.S. doesn't, but I will tell you that a lot of folks in the U.S. just don't truly know what good coffee really is.
I see.
So you just don't know. Like,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
you know
yeah.
is Folgers crystals and blah, blah, blah. Oh,
Right.
Can I use a brand name on the podcast?
Of course. Oh yeah, it's okay.
I
It's
don't want
okay.
to hear about, like, man, you heard what happened with Oki and the Folgers people.
No,
They
it's
got
all
him.
good.
They got him.
They got him.
The Folgers Mafia got him. But yeah, we got Folgers crystals and blah blah blah. And, it's just like, oh, okay, all right. Well, that's what my grandma. I grew up in Louisiana. Where,
Yeah,
community
like
coffee.
chicory and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, dude, let me tell you. When the first time I had chicory, like I was like, with a hint of chicory. I think we did that. I think Martha Stewart used to always talk about that with a little bit of chicory. I thought I was doing something, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, what are you drinking? Oh, it's a community blend with a hint of chicory.
Yeah.
And I thought I was being fancy. But but going back to what we were saying earlier, I just think you just don't know what you don't know until you're exposed to it.
Yeah.
So let's take Europe for example, man. You go to Europe, man, enjoying a cup of coffee is truly an experience.
Right.
Right? It is truly like you sit down, you're outside, like it's just what you do in the
It's what you
morning,
do. Yeah.
right? And it's the way they prepare it. In the U.S., it's about
Yeah. Get it done.
expediency. Sorry, got to get that first cup before I sit down
Right.
in front of my computer and open up my emails.
Totally different mentality.
It's a
Yeah.
different mentality. We do it almost like we got to take our medicine. We got to have our cup of coffee.
Right. Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
other countries, it's a part of your daily experience.
Yeah.
Right. And when you feel like something's more of an experience versus something I'm just
You
doing
treat it
something,
differently.
you
Yeah.
treat the
Yeah.
whole experience different.
Yeah. You treat it totally different. I see what you're talking about. So I think, it's one of those things where I thought I was doing something when I really started to get into coffee, and I got into it. I am into it. Then I realized, like, man, everything has a vice.
Mm.
Everything. And how do you, I guess, see how that's related to other things that you are interested in? Because like you said, you're not really so much into coffee like that. You understand it a lot more,
Right.
So how does other things in your life kind of like gives you that perspective about like, oh, okay, I can see why somebody can geek out about coffee.
Number one, it's always about being open to different things, open to new experiences. And again, I've been very blessed in my career to not only do what it is I do for a living in the HR field, but I have a chance to do that role in different countries. And you see how people in different countries, just their lifestyle is different.
Yeah.
I always share the story of like my first time I went to Rio, in Brazil, and talk about how, in America, getting to work at 6 a.m. It's almost a badge of honor.
Right.
It's a badge of honor. Grab a cup of coffee on the go. You put your thermos
Ready to
in
go.
your coffee holder. You're in your commute. You're a hard worker. It almost seems like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I remember this one trip I took, one of the very first trips down there I took. I remember I was staying at a hotel and it overlooked the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, in your life, you have these epiphany moments. And this is one of mine. So I'm sitting there watching. It's about 7 in the morning. Now, typically, if I was in the United States, if I was back home in the States, I would have already been at work, right?
Yeah,
I probably would have been at work at least 30 minutes ago. But there's this family that shows up, and my hotel was overlooking the beach on Copacabana Beach. There's this family that shows up. And so it was like husband, wife. They had like 2 or 3 kids, and they laid down a blanket. The husband and son were out there on the beach playing soccer or whatever. Mom and the kids were doing their thing. And they were just like, and I'm just looking at my watch, and I'm like, man, these dudes need to be at work. Like, man,
what
what are they doing? So they sat down, and I remember they like had, I guess they made some coffee or whatever. They sat down, or it might have been tea, really. But they were sitting down, and the parents sat down and had the coffee, and the kids were running around, and like they just did, and they had breakfast, and then they did like calisthenics and stretching.
Yeah.
And they did this for about an hour. And
so you're watching this whole
I'm
thing.
watching this whole thing play out.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching. Like, holy crap. And you just look along the beach and you see other families
kind of doing the same thing. Yeah.
And so they wrapped up about 8 o'clock, packed their stuff up, and went back home, I assume. So I get to the office, the Rio office of my company, and I still got there about 8:45. So it was before 9.
Mm-hmm.
And still I noticed that a lot of people still weren't there. And I was like, man, these folks come to work late.
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah.
This is a good gig if you can get it. But they do stay later.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they don't, even though we leave at like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Right.
They stay till like 6:30, 7.
But they stay later.
And so I asked some coworkers, I said, so
what's going on here?
Explain what I saw. And they just looked at me like I had 3 heads. They just like, yeah, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Like the morning starts off with this whole family bonding, right? It's the day starts and ends with about family.
Yeah.
And there's just this whole communal thing in a lot of South American and Hispanic and Latin American family types of. And again, I'm not trying to say that no other, like we all do, right?
Yeah.
But it was just a different experience for me to see that translate into terms of like when people start work.
Yeah.
And so they sat there with this cup of coffee, they sat there with their tea, and in the morning, that's how they started it.
Yeah.
And that's where the concept of work-life balance really triggered for me.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where I was like, wow.
And they still got their work done.
And they're still got their work done.
Yeah.
But they took care of family first in the morning.
Yeah.
And and I wish I could sit here and tell you that, like, okay, going forward, I still get to go to work early, but I will tell you that when I got back, and this is several years ago, when I got back home,
you started changing a couple things.
I did change a few things about how I start my morning.
Yeah.
I do start my morning almost every morning. I get up very early. I get around 4:30, and I have my cup of coffee. And it's my quiet time.
Gotcha.
It's
Just
my
kind of for
it's
yourself. Yeah.
I even call it like kind of my holy time.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I pray, sometimes I meditate, but I'll get that cup of coffee, and I will tell you, it's like there are times I don't even drink the
It's
coffee.
not even about the coffee,
It's not even
right?
about the coffee,
Yeah.
but it's about the experience.
Yeah.
I'll be outside. It's 4:30, 5 o'clock in Houston, so it's pitch black dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's quiet,
Yes.
and it's just listening to my coffee brew,
Yes. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
right? And you hear it drop.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to the point now where even my coffee maker, and it's not a fancy coffee maker, but like I can tell by the number of drops when it's almost
When it's
done.
almost done, yeah.
Right? And I grab my cup and I put my arms around my mug. It's that warmth that transitions from the mug to my hands.
Yeah.
And that aroma, that first
Everything
sense.
is I know what you're talking
and it's
about. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Right? So you feel me on that.
You know, I'll tell you this. I feel a little differently when I have that moment that you're talking about, when I'm like, make my cup of coffee in the morning. I'm chilling. I'm like thinking about the day that I'm about to have. It's different compared to when I'm like, oh shit, I gotta make this shit and put this in a to-go cup, driving to work. I'm off, right? Because it's like I didn't have this moment. I didn't have this moment with this. Yeah, like you said, it's not really so much about the beverage, but it really does set your day in a way to where you're like, I have my time.
Yeah. And I think it's so important, especially as we get older, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so important, even if it's like 10 minutes. Because everybody's busy adults, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us are married. We have challenging careers. We got kids.
Yeah.
Right? You know, once some kids is up, that's it.
That's
right?
it. That's it. You don't have that time
You
no
ain't got
more.
that time anymore during the day. But I mean, I tell you, but my wife and I both, we have that immediate, like that 10 minutes. I get up. I'm usually the first one up. And I get up. And she's usually like 15, 20 minutes behind me. And we know, like, we'll do that passing.
I see.
We'll do that passing
Yeah.
kiss on the cheek, good morning. But she goes.
Everybody has their own.
She goes and does her thing. I go and do my thing because that 10 or 15 minutes is very holy. And coffee is kind of part of mine.
It's part of that, yeah.
And there's times, man, I'll admit, like, I won't even take a sip of that doggone coffee.
You made it?
I made it.
Did your
I
routine?
did my routine. But I will tell you, it's the sensations that coffee brings, not just the taste of you when you're having a really well brewed cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But it's also like the other senses, the touch,
everything, yeah,
the smell, right? And a lot of times, you know how it is when you smell something that you really like, you don't even have to. You could smell it,
be good too,
and it could be. You can still taste it.
See, I wrote a book years ago, and the book name, and I still say it. I had a couple of YouTube videos, and I talk about it still constantly. It's called "It Smells Better Than It Tastes." Because I'm like, I'll be completely honest.
I like it.
Coffee tastes good, but it smells even better. It smells better. And sometimes when you have that disconnect, for me, I get mad because it doesn't translate the same. But if you can get that smell.
I get it. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, it's the same thing with me and cigars, right? Like, you know, I love the smell of cigars. I love the smell of cigars more than I like the taste of cigars.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a big cigar guy, right? And I remember during the pandemic, like, I used to have like breakfast cigars.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dude, it was like I'd get like a 10th anniversary champagne.
Is it just less intense, I guess?
Oh, it's very mild. It's very mild.
Okay,
it's a very mild cigar. And because you don't want to start your morning off with a heavy ass cigar. But you know, I had a very mild cigar. I had a really nice. I drink a lot of Brazilian coffee. And and
I'm gonna ask you about that, but keep going.
Don't ask me the name of it though.
No, it's okay.
Don't ask me my team in Rio, they know I like foreign coffees, but I had but it was my routine during the pandemic was that I would get up in the morning, have this cup of coffee, have my cigar, and I tell you, okay, it was just so therapeutic.
Yeah,
it's so therapeutic. You just get out there, you had that 10 or 15 minutes to yourself, and again, sometimes I pray. Sometimes I might read a couple of passages in the Bible. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I just sit there and just listen to the silence of nature.
Oh, yes.
Hold my cup of coffee, having my cigar, and it's those scents, the sense of the coffee and even the foam.
Yeah, the foam, the way it pours into a cup. Yes.
And when something, and I've noticed since I've been doing this for a few years now, it's one of those things where when it's disrupted.
Oh yeah, and no, it's not the same.
And don't let me run out of coffee.
Yeah.
Because then there's a whole part of my morning routine that I can't do.
I can't do it.
And then she's like, fine, forget it. I'm going to work.
Yeah. And it just kind of, I mean, you're going to still conquer the day, but it feels a little different, right?
I got to get my motivation somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That is so true. That's why I did another post because, it's the ritual.
Mhm.
It's like, and that's funny because it's not so much about, I mean, it is about the taste, the smell, all that stuff, all the senses that you get from it. But at the end of the day, if you have, because all a ritual is part of your system, right? It's part of the system. If it's interrupted some way, somehow.
Yeah. Well, human beings are creatures of habit.
Right. That's true.
Right. It's a break of the habit. We all wild up.
We're all wild up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
My day sucks. Rage.
Exactly.
And then you hyped up on coffee, and
then you're just like, okay,
right.
What's going on here? Yeah. So you mentioned Brazilian coffee. So what got you into Brazilian coffee? Or
again, I said it about 2 or 3 times already. Like I'm fortunate to be able to travel to different locations, and so I'm working in these offices. And so, of course, I get up and, they drink coffee and they offer coffee all the time. They sometimes even have like coffee breaks, like official coffee breaks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right. And it's crazy. So you want to join in. And so Brazilian coffee, Brazil is probably one of the places I tend to be able to go to a couple times a year. Man, but like I've been introduced to a number of different brands there, and it's so different than the traditional American coffee. Now,
like how so?
Well,
I'm not quizzing you. I just want to know your curiosity.
Again, everything I tell you is going to be coming from a novice perspective.
No.
So some of your listeners who are aficionados may be like, "What the heck is this?"
See, that's the thing about it. I think the beauty of this whole thing is that you may think that you're novice, but you like what you like. Like for instance, I am still a coffee snob. Don't get me wrong. Like most of the shit that I had here, I'm like, it's kind of. But it was the experience.
Right.
Like me and Rockley, we had a great conversation. We walked around.
Yeah.
It was about the experience. But I guess what I'm saying is that what did the Brazilian coffee do for you? Was it more so like the atmosphere, how you were introduced to the Brazilian coffee, or like you said, it was a taste?
Well,
right?
it's okay. So that's a bit of a different question. So the thing is that it like most of my travels, it opens me up to different cultures.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Different experiences, right? And so I remember the first time I had a cup of Brazilian coffee, and I was like, "Wow, this is richer." Right? Like you could just tell. Like you can tell when you go to, like if you go to a fast food joint and you get a salad.
Yeah.
Like, even if you get a salad, right?
Yeah.
That's not a really good salad. You get the hard pieces of lettuce and blah, blah, blah. But then you go somewhere, you get like a really great salad.
You're like, whoa,
with
yeah.
Organic arugula.
Yeah. You can taste every little thing. Yeah.
And so it's just the same product. It's just produced differently. And so a lot of the coffee sometimes we drink in the States, again, we're not really thinking about that. We're just thinking about, hey, coffee in the morning. How much caffeine does it have? Right? Does it do it for me? But down there, it's, again, my experience was like, it was just this additional aroma, additional flavor.
Yeah.
And I knew it when they poured it. Because you could
You're like,
smell
it's like, wait, okay.
Ooh, this smells really, really good. But again, I've been to Spain. I had some coffee over there. I've been to different parts of Europe. I mean, every country
kind of does it do it differently.
has great coffee. And I guess in the U.S. I just had cheap coffee. Maybe that's just what it was.
Yeah.
But when I went down, having really high quality coffee, I think most of the first time when I was in Brazil.
Yeah.
And it was just like, whoa, the start.
Did you mainly drink it like black, or how do you usually prepare your coffee?
So normally, I'm all black, right? So I normally drink black coffee. Okay. I do a lot of intermittent fasting.
Okay. You want to keep it. Yeah, exactly.
Keep that going, right? So 9 times out of 10, when you see me drinking coffee, it's usually black. Okay. Every blue moon, when I've been really good, I'll do a little froth. So I have a little bit on top, but it's normally black. And even if I didn't drink coffee black, to be honest with you, the first time I drink coffee, I'd want it black.
Just want to taste it, right? You want to taste it, yeah. I was talking to him about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, even like it's almost like when I drink whiskey, like because since I'm a cigar guy, obviously I'm a whiskey guy, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people like add a few drops of water to it to bring out the flavor and things like that. And sometimes people do other things to whiskey. And I said before I mess with it,
Yeah.
Let me drink it in its purest form.
It's kind of like when I like go to like Mexican restaurants. I'm like, I gotta have chips first because I'm like,
Right.
that's the introduction.
Mhm.
If the chips taste like trash,
Right. It ain't
then
gonna get no better.
then you already fucking up.
It ain't gonna get no better.
Yeah.
Like you can't get the tortilla chips right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get this extravagant quesadilla.
Yeah.
Quesadilla, that's funny. But yeah, no, but yeah, it's you start off. I believe you just kind of start off in its purest form,
hmm
and then it's like, okay, cool, all right. I feel the vibe of this particular brand of coffee,
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, now let me add milk,
Right.
creamer, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't enhance it, because sometimes it's like good steak,
Yeah.
right? When it's cooked really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need a salt,
You
pepper,
don't need that. That's
salt,
pretty
pepper,
much.
and you grill it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And when people start adding all too much stuff to it, you take away from the natural flavor.
Mhm.
And I think coffee in its purest form is one of the best things in the world.
Yes. Yeah. I agree too. You know, I did a video a long time ago, and it was interesting because at the time, selling Rockley, is that normally during like November and December, especially during the holidays, that's when like prime roast goes on sale. So I usually stack up, spend $600-700 just getting these rib roasts, and it got to the point to where I had to like start changing it up, like the way I started to make it. And the ribeye, you probably understand what I'm talking about, but the ribeye to me, because at first I said ribeye is overrated, then I'm like, shit. The ribeye to me is the most versatile cut of beef out there, and it kind of has that same parallel with Brazilian coffee.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that is because Brazilian coffee is the leading producing coffee in they produce more coffee, like the C grade and all that stuff is based off of Brazilian coffee. If they have like a coffee rust issue, the prices go up even more so.
Wow.
Just because they produce about, I can't remember the percentage.
Yeah.
Let's say 20 to 30, probably even 40% of the world's production of
Wow,
coffee.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And a lot of times what they do with Brazilian coffee is that it's the cheapest coffee.
Mhm.
And me personally, I used to not like it. But then it got to the point where I kept on drinking and I'm like, even the bottom Brazilian coffee works with 90% of people, either black or if they do creamer or whatever, because it's not offensive.
Yeah.
A lot of times with African coffees, to an extent,
Yes.
it's like a little too much.
Yeah.
Is this coffee? Does it taste like coffee? You know?
Right. Yeah.
So Brazilian coffee is very I call it, for me, especially with my sales and everything, that's my bottom bitch.
Ah, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the one that
I love it. I love
because it's funny because like a lot of times when people say like, oh, I want your coffee, and you give them 3 or 4 different ones, and then they come back again and they're mainly just getting Brazilian coffee. I'm like, oh, I love when people tell me without telling me like this is really what they like about it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But this Brazilian coffee, like you said, the smell.
Oh,
Have you tasted like Datura?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Because that's like usually the higher end Brazilian coffee.
Okay. All right.
And for the most part, at least for me, like a lot of Brazilian coffee tastes like chocolate and nutty notes. But like you said, it feels like more enhanced, though, right?
It definitely is. I mean, again, prior to me having that coffee, which is like I said, me and Folgers Crystals, right? That's what what it's all about. But yeah, it definitely that nutty enhancement. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But honestly, I kind of like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I kind of like it. Although I do know some people say like, oh, it's too. I've heard people say, oh, it's too nutty. Or whatever. And I don't know what too nutty is.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
that means like but it's just I don't know. I just like different cultures take on
what they
coffee,
do, right?
what they do with their coffee, how they prepare their coffee. It's just I mean, it's just if you open yourself up to new experiences and different journeys, like you can enjoy your relationship with coffee so much more because you're like, one day you can say, okay, I'm gonna do it like Colombian roast,
right?
Or I'm Turkish coffee. I'm gonna take a look at that, right? And I mean, hell, there's so many cultures in the world, and each culture has several
something a little different.
Like you can go several months and try something new every week.
with
and
that
not-
exact
and not
same
repeat.
coffee. Yeah,
And not repeat.
that's true.
Yeah, I just think that's the journey with coffee that a lot of people just kind of overlook. You find what works and what's economical,
Right.
what's easy to get your hands on,
Yeah.
and it's like rinse and repeat, right?
So I just did a podcast about that and like how I'm in this weird situation because I am a coffee slut. I can literally have
no. What did you say?
a coffee slut.
So just in case your listeners aren't aware, right? Yeah. So we're sitting here in this hookah bar. We're doing this podcast recording. I've had a couple of drinks.
Yes.
And I just
That's what you heard, right?
I just knew I misheard you say I'm a coffee slut.
I am.
So before
Yes.
you move on, what is a coffee slut?
It's what you think it is. It's exactly what you think it is. I mean, I can have a bag of coffee.
I've never heard that term before in my life.
I mean, I probably coined it. I would probably say I probably coined it.
Dude, you should get a t-shirt.
I'm gonna get it. You're right.
You should
You're
get
right.
a t-shirt.
I'm a
But
coffee
have it on the
slut.
back and then have it like an arrow pointing down. Coffee
Yeah.
slut.
I'm gonna do that.
I ain't gonna wear it.
It'll be like, but it may get people to ask questions like, what are you talking about?
I don't know if I would answer those questions. Okay, but yeah, okay. So coffee slut is what I think it is.
It's like you can never really get. You can't have just one coffee. You know, you can have it for like, even if you got a big bag, I probably have 2 or 3 cups of that coffee, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. On to the next. Okay, I'm gonna roast it a little differently. Okay, it tastes okay. All right, cool. I'm cool. On to the next.
Right.
And there's fellow coffee sluts everywhere. Like, for instance,
Is there a coffee slut convention?
it should be. It should be. Because think about it. Like for instance, like there's people on Reddit that this is what they do. Get this. This is what they do. They're like, hey, out the whole year, these are all the fucking coffee bags that I've essentially fucked. And I'm like, damn, look at this person just.
Oh my God.
And like 2 or 3 of the bags repeated. So they went back to the other ones, but they still got about 30, 40 bags of.
I'm crying over here. Holy shit. Okay. All right. So consider my mind open. I didn't realize that was a thing.
So again, like, I'm in the business mainly because I got into this because I want to provide affordable coffee.
You should call this episode hashtag coffee slut.
Coffee slut. Yeah, part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
There was a part 1.
Part 1 was already last week.
I missed it.
You know?
Holy shit.
So
I
sat there. I was thinking because like, okay, I gave this person this coffee.
You gave it up.
Yeah, I gave it up. And you know, I was excited. I'm like, okay, they drink it. They're like, all right, cool. Okay, you gonna get some more? I said, nah, we cool. We're gonna go on to the next bag. I'm like,
but you liked it, right?
But I just got fucked and now they moving on, you know? So I guess what I'm saying is that I realized that I personally am a coffee slut, but that's really not so much of a sustainable business.
Being a slut usually isn't.
No. So I need somebody who's monogamous. But again,
you need commitment.
I need commitment. But the thing about it too is that I'm coming through. They don't know me, so I'm essentially getting them to hopefully cheat on.
So is there coffee infidelity too?
It's all of it together. It's like this is really kind of weird the way I'm thinking about it.
I'm gonna do this coffee menage a trois.
Yeah, and it's like okay,
I'm gonna blend 2 or 3 coffees in one.
Hey man, I got
to. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because if you think about it, it's like,
oh Jesus,
how can I get into the game? I gotta get this person to at least look at me, and when they look at me, but I'm only again, I will sell some coffee to the coffee slut, even if they just buy 1 bag.
Right.
I need that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I gotta get that other person to break up with the coffee that they've been doing. So it's like, okay, how the hell do we do this?
So you know that coffee don't treat you like you should be treated.
Come over here.
Come over here.
What you like? I got it.
With that bold black flavor. What you go black? You
won't go back.
Oh shit! I don't know if we still talk about coffee anymore.
I mean,
it's hilarious.
But you know, it's kind of weird. I just sat there. I was like, am I playing this game correctly, or am I thinking about this too much? But yes, there's coffee sluts. Because again, I'm just like, just buying a bag and like, okay. And it's just like the exploration. It's like the chase. Think about it, slut. What does a fucking slut do? They can't never get enough. I mean, I should probably censor some of this, but I'm not.
Oh my God! So I'm dead serious. When you come out with this shirt, I'm gonna get one of my wife.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell my wife, what was like, hey, wear this around the house.
Not outside. Not outside.
You can't go outside. No, you can't go outside in this shirt. No, you can't go outside in this shirt. But no, but carry this cup of coffee. Don't drink it. Just walk around the house with it with this
Just
shirt.
wash. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh Jesus. Now I got a headache. Oh man. Okay.
But see, okay, so what would you consider yourself? Are you a coffee slut?
I am not a coffee slut.
Are you a wanderer? Sometimes.
I don't know. I'm still finding myself. I guess that's the way to say it. I'm finding myself. I'm still in the exploration journey.
Okay.
Right. Look,
So you're not 100% committed.
Hold on. I'm one of those coffee. I guess if I was to put it in the category in which we're talking about, I guess I'd have to say like I don't believe in labels.
You don't believe in labels.
I don't believe in labels. I feel like we should be able to enjoy the coffee that we want.
So you're in denial. You can't commit. You can't commit to.
I don't see a need to commit when it comes to
There's
coffee.
no need. Fair enough.
I don't,
And that could be it too. That could be perfectly fine.
I feel like what Coming to America, it says soy your royal oats. Like
Everywhere.
I just feel like when it comes to different coffee brands, like because honestly, here's the truth of the matter, right? So there's 3 or 4 brands I tend to get. Some of them are international brands.
Yeah.
But truth be told, if somebody tells me, hey, there's this Turkish coffee you need to try.
Yeah.
Right?
You're going to try it.
I'm gonna go try it
Yeah.
if I hadn't had it before, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing against the coffees I've been drinking the whole time. They're still
You just
good.
want to try it.
I'm gonna come back,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna try this other coffee real quick.
Gotta try it.
And so I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess you gotta blow my mind. I never thought of coffee in this particular mental paradigm before. But I guess if it's one of those things, I just say, nah, I don't commit to. I mean, whatever I can get, whatever I can get I don't know. I'm about to say whatever I can get my hands on, but I guess that almost goes to the slut.
Yeah. See, you're in between. You can't, but
I
no, you bring a good point because at the end of the day, it's coffee. You just want to try it. You already have your roster over here, right?
Yeah.
You got your main roster. And then sometimes you want to just you have another interest here and there.
I guess so. I guess so.
But
Holy
I mean,
shit.
again, I was just mind blown when I was like, okay, that person moved on. Because I thought about it too. I was like, man, I got this badass coffee. I roasted I perfected this coffee.
Right.
I give it out to people. They buy it here and there. They're like, damn, that shit was good. And I'm like, okay. They moved on. And I'm like, because I thought about it too. Because when I started really drinking coffee, I bought it from here, there. My budget was like $120, $200 a month.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
But again, I'm like, it's funny now that I'm thinking, it's like ironic that I'm trying to have a sustainable business. I can't really have a sustainable business if somebody's going from this to coffee, especially when coffee is like, everybody consumes it. It's a staple.
Right.
I mean, think about it. Are you really buying that many different eggs?
No.
And they all really taste the same.
Pretty much.
But
when it comes to eggs, it's just like, okay, how are they raised? Are they pasture raised?
Right.
Organic
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I can agree with that.
But then again, like you said, though, it's coffee, right? So it's almost like you're damn if you do, damn if you don't, because you're gonna essentially cheat anyway on coffee. Because at the end of the day, it's coffee. It's one of the joys of life, right?
Right.
It's almost like a liquor or a cigar or whatever. It's like
exactly.
It's
I will agree with that. It's just and it's almost it's like art. You like what you like.
You like what you like.
What's good art? It's the art that you like.
Yeah.
Right. You might not be into Picasso or Rembrandt and things like that. You might like street art. And that might be your thing. Guess what? As far as you're concerned, that's the only thing that matters for you.
That's
right?
it.
That's what you like. And same thing with me and coffee. Like I said, and again, I'm not so sophisticated where I can sit here and quote to you all these different coffees and the different types and the grades. I couldn't tell you. All I can tell you is, if I had it, I could tell you, did I like it?
Do you like it?
Not like it?
That's the most important thing.
And like, no sir, didn't like it. But then I can come back and say, yes, this one is on point. It'll stay in my rotation.
Yeah. Part of the roster, right?
Part of your rotation, right? Hey, look, hopefully I'll get so sophisticated. I'll get to a point where I'll be like, this is my Sunday coffee, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
This is more of a Tuesday blend.
It's kind of like that. That's kind of like how I feel sometimes. It's like, okay, I prefer like an easy drinker, like a Brazilian in the morning, because I'm just starting my day.
So how many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Not that much, and I don't have that much. Like today, I had a decent amount. I have about 4 cups. That's not normal. I usually have 1 cup, and it's like 6 ounces.
So how many cups of coffee do you think is too much for the average drinker? Like,
it's up to them. I don't judge.
All right.
I don't judge.
So if somebody says, "Oh, I have 10 cups of coffee a day," you don't even like, man, that's a lot of coffee.
That's good. And I'll be like, you want to try my coffee?
Ever the opportunist. All right.
Yeah, I was like, hey, if you gonna drink it like that, I have a homeboy.
Drink yours, right?
I have a homeboy. He's in California. I kid you not. He spends about 120 every time he orders from me. He says, "Okay, I'm sorry, man. Your shit is the best." He has before he goes to work, he has a 12-cup Mr. Coffee machine.
Wow.
Him and his wife every time. I'm like, I need to find more of those motherfuckers.
Right.
You know?
That'll make your month right there.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, again, I'm figuring it out. And I think that's the beauty of business, really, because it's like, okay, I'm going to figure this out because at the end of the day, I know my stuff is good.
Right.
And I need to just make sure that more people experience it. That's why I'm going to Amazon. That's why I'm eventually going to start doing wholesale. You know?
That'd be good. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We can't wait to hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
And that's going to happen. But, at the end of the day, it's interesting just hearing people's talk in their relationship with coffee, because at the end of the day, I mean, you have your own relationship. It's yours. Like, for instance, I used to be a big person of really snob about it. I was like, how come you didn't try that shit black? But at the end of the day,
what was it noise you made? Black.
you didn't try it. You ain't with this.
I think this hookah's getting to me at this point. Okay, let's go ahead.
But okay, we good. So really the biggest thing is it's your mouth. I know that's really bad saying it that way.
Oh my God.
It's your palate.
Shit.
So at the end of the day, why would I dare tell you? How dare I try to tell you how to enjoy something?
Right.
I can give you my opinion on how I enjoy it, but you enjoy it the way you enjoy it. You know?
Right.
Like we here in the hookah spot, we all pretty much got the exact same one, right?
Yeah.
But you do it a little differently, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You enjoy it the way you enjoy it. And that's the most important.
And that's how most things are. That's again, we started the conversation off about journey and experiences and things like that. And I mean, and everybody just have their own experience with it, right? You like it, you don't like it. If you like it, okay, what do you think you like? Do you like the dark blend? Do you like the do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like ice, cold coffee? Do you like, all these other things? And it's so funny, like when it comes to coffee, there's just so many. I mean, I just did not know there were just so many ways to enjoy coffee.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a deep science.
It's a deep science, yeah.
I remember a coworker of mine blew my mind because they were talking about their husband is a big coffee person.
Yeah.
And when she told me how much money they spent on their coffee machine,
couple grand, right?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
No.
Like 10, 12, 30.
It was like almost 10 grand.
Yeah.
And I said, wait, did y'all offer to opening up a Starbucks or something?
No, that's just for home.
It's just for home use?
Yeah.
But it's like anything else.
Yeah.
You can spend as much money as you want.
I got a grinder at home. I haven't showed much people on the page yet. I got a grinder at home that I bought 10 years ago. It is so looked at as the pinnacle of grinders. I mean, it still is, but there's other grinders out that are as comparable. That it's gone up in value.
Right. Oh, really?
I paid $2,300 for this grinder. It's like, if you want it brand new, it's like $3,300 now.
What?
The exact same grinder.
See,
because of what you can taste in the coffee compared. Like, for instance, I had this coffee. I still don't like it. It was a Colombian coffee. It tasted like grapefruit, but grapefruit with the rind on it. You know how that,
yeah. Yeah.
And I put it in that grinder, and I'm like, okay, it got a little sweeter. It changes the clarity of what I'm actually tasting in the coffee.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, probably it's the grinder. But like you said, I think that's the beauty of coffee or like anything in general. Like we have our things where it's like we can go deep into that rabbit hole, but it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you can,
I agree. I agree. I think it's up to individual taste. I think it comes down to like what your experience has been with coffee and things like that. And I think at the end of the day, everybody should be able to choose, whatever style or how you
whatever style,
wanna
yeah.
drink it, over the rocks,
Yeah.
over, hot, espresso format.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, it's just because if you limit yourself, you're limiting your potential journey with
With coffee, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm learning because, like, even if nobody on my YouTube buys my stuff, but there's a lot of things that I do know that as long as I can be a part of their journey, like showing them tips and tricks, things that I'm doing, and they get something from it, I'm cool with that.
Absolutely.
Because we're all on our own journeys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Unfortunately, people have resources like your YouTube channel and this podcast to kind of help them along with that journey. Because I mean, again, most of us start off, like I said when we started the conversation, adults drink coffee. I'm an adult.
That's what we do, yeah.
So I'm gonna drink coffee, and it's not really understood. Like, and if you just drink it like that, like kind of a necessity just to get through your morning, like you're missing out on so much. And you're drinking coffee anyway.
You might as well explore it.
You might as well explore it and be like, okay, all right, well, let me see if I do it like this, or let me see if it gets cooked this way, or whatever the case is, or if it gets cooked, or gets
roasted or whatever,
or whatever. What about this, or what if I do a blend? I mean, there's just so many ways. I mean, I'm at the very beginning of my journey, and I'm like, holy heck, I didn't know it was so. I realized it was that. I didn't realize it was.
It's a whole gamut,
a whole aspect of it.
Yeah, I'll actually, like for instance, one of the things, since I'm a roaster, I tried not to go on that avenue, mainly because I did a video about roasting and I didn't get that many views. So I'm like, I mean, truthfully, I don't want people to learn about roasting. At the end of the day, I can, okay, this is what I do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I want to give tips and tricks on brewing.
Right.
Because that's how we can really relate to each other, because you're brewing the coffee your way. Maybe because of the gadgets that I do have, and probably even with the palate that I do have, that I can do a couple experiments to give you another different approach to actually extracting your coffee a little bit better.
Right.
Or even if you extract it a certain way, now you're wasting less coffee if you did it this way, for instance,
Right.
So those are some of the things that I can give to people. And then when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait, I could talk about this technique, that technique. I'm like, I am overwhelmed.
Right.
Because now I'm like, which direction did I really go in? But like you said, that's part of the journey. And that's the thing that's cool things. So let me ask you this. What type of coffee maker do you have at home? What do you use on the daily?
Dude, I have a typical Keurig.
Okay.
But it doesn't have like the little froth thing on the side, right?
Yeah,
so I can pour in the milk and make a little froth.
Yeah,
things like that. So if I wanted to get all fancy with it, now because I do get my coffee from like when I travel, what I did is I got the refillable Keurig cups.
Gotcha.
Right. So what I do is I open them up and I'll get a couple spoonfuls of the coffee that's in the packages that I buy from overseas, and that's how I brew my coffee.
Gotcha.
Like that. So I mean, I probably spent $100 on it.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing to be impressed about. I mean, but I'll be honest, it was a big deal for me.
It was still a big deal.
It was a big deal for me.
Exactly, yeah.
Beforehand, I'd go to like Target and get like a $19.99,
machine. Yeah.
Machine, and that'd be it. But then I was like, you know what? I want to be able to have like a cappuccino with a little froth on it, and then it blends it, and I can determine the boldness and stuff like that. Before, it was just like one size fits all. You couldn't adjust the size. So I feel like that $100 coffee maker was
worth
like
it. Yeah.
A big deal for me.
Yeah.
While others, most coffee drinkers are way past that, right?
Right.
But again, my journey, right? That's
your journey.
Where I'm at, right?
That's the biggest thing. Like I did another post. I did another post because my mom has a Mr. Coffee machine, and I thought it'd be a cool. I thought it'd be a cool. Okay, we're doing pretty good. I thought it'd be a cool like video to do this. It was like, okay, let me go ahead and make a video about the Mr. Coffee machine and tell people how shitty it is, blah 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 blah. But I did have a point on there to be like, okay, I'm gonna see if I can make tasty coffee off this machine. And I told myself I wasn't gonna mod it, nothing like that. I'm just gonna understand the machine. So I did that post, and I spent the time, and I'm gonna do 2 posts. I'm gonna do a pour over Mr. Coffee recipe, and then I'm gonna do showing people like tips and tricks about how they can make a cup of coffee out of it. Long story short, I can make tasty coffee out of the Mr. Coffee machine.
Right.
And I was floored because, as I was doing my coffee journey in the beginning, I started with Mr. Coffee. I went away from it, went to French press, pour over, espresso, and all that stuff. And I'm like, I think the coffee industry or the specialty coffee industry has did a disservice to the overall coffee industry because because the way the perception and everything they have made is that you have to have all these gadgets in order to make a good cup of coffee. It's ironic actually because I use those gadgets in order to perfect my recipe with Mr. Coffee.
Gotcha.
But it's kind of like paying a homage back to the Mr. Coffee, realizing like everything works. Everything can work. You just have to realize is that when you alienate or when you tell people that this is better because of this, that's gonna be more.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you go to somebody and say, okay, this is better, it's like, okay, well, now you just kind of poo-pooing on what.
Yeah.
Versus sharing experiences.
Yeah.
And just saying, well, here's this particular brand, here's this particular variety, here's this particular type of brew process, and maybe just learning.
Yeah.
Or even if you don't like it, even you're like, yeah, I tried, don't like it. I mean,
you don't like it, yeah, you tried it.
But you just sharing stories, right? And
yeah.
So, I mean, I think people just it's like anything else. Man.
It's anything, yeah.
Like you want to share your experiences, and when somebody comes to you and says, "Oh, that's crap," then and that's just not conducive to having a good conversation about it,
right? Right. Or at least explain why you say that, right?
or not.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like just by you telling me you didn't like it, it's not going to change what I'm going to drink tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
So all it's going to make is like I'm not going to tell you about my coffee anymore. Like, all right, well, fuck you and your coffee.
Yeah, get you exactly. I ain't worried about you no more.
Right.
You're not open. You're not like.
You're not open. Like okay, well, we're not talking about this no more. We're done. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true. So actually, I'll tell you offline, but I think I figured out a way to put it on Amazon to where I'm like, I think I have something here to where I can really create this coffee for the Mr. Coffee machine,
Right.
And like just market it and promote it that way, So
I think that'll be a huge. I think that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, you look at. I see it all the time. I'm like, okay, yeah, I use Hario V60 is great. I love it. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at the Mr. Coffee machine, I see 20,000 positive reviews about it. People like it. That's what they use.
Right.
So if I can create an actual coffee, it's not really, I don't see it there.
Right.
Create an actual coffee that's designed for that machine.
Yep.
I'm like, it's gonna be ground coffee too. I'm just gonna do ground coffee, let them understand what it is. But I'm like, that's really because if you think about it, it's kind of like what we were talking about before. At least for me in my business, the way it's set up is that I need sustainability.
Right.
The person who has a Mr. Coffee or Keurig, they want that taste and they want it to be consistent. Yes. I mean, are they drinking Folgers? Sure.
I want to be clear. Like, the reason why I got that Keurig was because it was like $5 cheaper than the other one, right?
Hey.
So I can't sit here and tell you like, oh, I got Keurig because I am a huge Keurig fan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what I bought, it's what I like, it's what's working for me.
Yeah.
But can somebody show me something else? And like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. So my next coffee maker is gonna be that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm, there's nothing to me. There's nothing magical about the Keurig. It's just what I have.
What you have,
and what I happen to use, right? I use what I use. I use what I have. Right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's pretty cool. So your journey through coffee is still going, right?
Oh, it is ongoing. It's as a matter of fact, like the coffee we had this morning at brunch, man. I like we were all having coffee, and I mean I saw it. I was like, man, I need to do some different type of coffee and not stick with my Americana, my cappuccino, right? So I chose something else different on the menu. But yeah,
how was it?
It was actually really good. It was really good. I mean, I will be honest. I typically don't drink a full cup of coffee.
Yeah,
like, I'll get a cup. Unless it's like an espresso shot, like I rarely finish it. But I finished the coffee this morning. It was
like
really
okay,
good.
yeah.
But whenever I see other options on menus that I haven't had before, I'll take it as an opportunity to do something different.
I see. Yeah.
So yeah, but it's still in the early days. So I'll definitely come back and tell you about how my journey's like evolved.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's off to a bang, and I mean coffee is part of my normal morning routine. It's kind of my normal mantra. It's how I get my day going well. It's part of my holy time, and
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see this time next year as it evolves.
See where it's at. Yeah.
What else I'll be able to share, and then maybe I'll be able to come back and explain to you. Come back and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a coffee slut now." I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I appreciate your time and our laughs and everything. And
No, I appreciate
we're gonna
it.
do this again.
I appreciate it. And also, I'm gonna put a quick plug in. Like, and by the way, if you're sitting down having a cup of coffee, and hopefully you bought this coffee from my boy Oki, so because it's gonna be high quality coffee, and you want some good career advice.
There you go.
Reach out. Check out my podcast. So my friend in HR, it talks about casual career advice. If you ever want to know, like behind the scenes, behind enemy lines, when HR says this, what does that mean? Get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Nice. So what's it called again?
It's called My Friend in HR. It's on Spotify.
Everywhere?
Anywhere you get your podcast fix.
Yeah.
Spotify.
I will put that in the descriptions for sure.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, coffee and talking about office hijinks goes hand in hand, right?
Yes.
So maybe we can have some coffee talk with some of your listeners. So absolutely, man. But I appreciate you inviting me on here. It's been a blast. It's interesting doing this at a hookah bar.
Right.
Hopefully the music doesn't distract people too much. Hopefully they were able to still, they thought our conversation was entertaining. But
yeah.
Okay, appreciate it as always. Invite me on your show. I love it. Hopefully we'll do this again real soon.
For sure.
And I'll have to have you on my show.
I will.
Absolutely.
We will make it happen.
All right, brother. Appreciate it, man.
All right, cool. Thank you.
All right, later.
Thanks. Man.